Hey guys, it's me again, Orchler, with us where we last left off. Let's see, checking. So, Deku, All Might talked to Deku, offered him. Deku refused one for all. Bakugo now has it. After All Might reviewed her, you could say Deku beat All Might. Yeah, he beat All Might. Yeah. And then from there, nothing much really happened. Aside from, Deku meeting Yujiro again, and finally meeting Strider, I believe is his name, like I said. So, Bakugo's quirk. Yeah, I've tried looking it up, I'm still not sure about the one-for-all quirk. Some guy said, they do get strength, but not the same extent. Thing is, we've never really seen anyone with a quirk and one for all. All Might says that if Todoroki got it, his fire and ice would be unstoppable or something. So I'm confused on it. So, plus how would that even make sense? How would people just explain, oh yeah, I got a strength quirk out of nowhere? So, I'll just be going with my thing where it, enhances her already existing, quirk. And with her quirk having to be much stronger, her body will adapt to it. Her blast back and all that. So, as Bakugo and Deku do the training for 9 months, as Bakugo has to go to places where nobody can find them to create bigger and bigger explosions. At the moment of her ability, when it comes to explosions and such, she's extremely more tough than she would be in the normal anime. Bakugo in the anime when he was 15 was thrown into a building by All Might, for crying out loud. Anyways, as I was saying, and what Deku will be doing, what Deku's doing in this time is he's sparring and putting on, heavier and heavier weights that he can get his hands on, as All Might talks to some people at UA about getting some really, All Might weights that All Might would have trouble with. As they get, close to a dozen of them, Deku puts, the recommended, and, not just the recommended, he puts more than just the recommended amount that they said for All Might to wear. As Deku lines his, wrist, his legs, and even, has, one of those, vests that you put weights in, he did that as well. As he put that on, he would, run, punch. With all the weight and such weighing him down, he's much faster and much stronger. And he's been able to go from 50% to 55%. Deku slowly but surely battering his way to controlling more than, slowly but surely battering his way to the top. Sorry. As eventually the day for the entrance exam comes along. As Deku and Bakugo head out for it. As they're making their way, they talk. And Bakugo has calmed down even more so. As Deku says, "What's wrong, Bakugo? Seem a lot less fiery than before." She's like, What do you mean?" As he's like, you're just not as fiery. I don't know how to put it. I've calmed down over the years. He's like, slowly but surely, I guess. As he just shrugs. Well, anyway, Kutsuki. You excited for the tests? I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be boring, but hey. She's like, it should be easy for us to pass. Not only have we been training ourselves extremely, we've also been studying with Momo. Deku's like, where is Momo anyway? She got recommendation. As Deku says, well, there you go when you have people in high places. Wait, what about All Might? Did he not offer you one? He did, but I sort of, well, actually, no, he didn't. Just said good luck, and then we're off. Anyways, as then Deku sees like Bakugo who's about to fall, he just stretches his arm over and just grabs her like by the where the back the collar was, as he just pretty much like put her back up straight. She's like, oh, thank you. He's like, it's no problem. Well, as then it's like, Deku, we gotta go. Why am I tired? As he's like, sure thing, Katsuki. See you later. As Deku walks away, as they sit at the thing. Deku's very big. He's like around 7 feet now. 7 foot. Well, not just 7 foot, he's like 7'3". An inch shorter than Yujiro, and an inch taller than All Might, so yeah. As Yujiro is right now just chilling throughout his days, waiting and waiting and waiting. All Might's there, like watching, not watching, but he's like in like where they would watch the students and such. As Deku and them like get the information, as Deku's thinking, that's President Mike. President who is what Bakugo says? It's President Mike. He pretty much can scream really loudly. Pretty interesting, all things considered. As Deku and Bakugo are sort of whispering to each other, Ida does the... Well, no, I would say Ida won't hear them whispering, as he has a whole outburst about which this and this and this is wrong. I'm highly disappointed in UA. Sorry, as Bakugo says, the prick, just shut up. I want to learn about you. I want to listen to this guy, but this guy won't shut up. As Deku says, okay. Hey man, you quiet down, I'm trying to listen. Stop interrupting, please. As Deku like straightens himself back up. She's like, you didn't have to do that. He's like, kinda did. Probably would have gone rambling. So as then they continue forward with the whole, get through the test and all that. As they still are separated, Deku like sort of says good luck, Katsuki, as he like holds out, like giving her a fist bump, and she's like, see ya, Deku. See you, you damn you lovable nerd. She's like, see you, my little firecracker. As they both set out for their different things. As Deku's standing there, just waiting, he's just like in gym shorts and like just a tank top and such, give him maximum mobility. As he's stretching his legs and stretching, and pretty much that's it. As he throws a couple of punches here and there, he's like, alright. As he starts charging his quirk, his first quirk he uses primarily, unless he's going fighting someone who's actually worth it. He doesn't always just combination quirk. As Deku destroys the robots easily, as he bashes them away, picks up one pointer and sort of throws it into a couple of 2-pointers. As 3-pointer then launches its missiles or whatever at Deku, as he uses that sort of air blast thing. Air blast, as he uses it to throw away the missiles. It's wow. As some teachers that Izuku Midoriya kid's doing pretty well. As in, he's a lot like All Might. And then it's look over here in this sector. Looks like this girl, Katsuki Bakugo, is decimating the robots. She's fast. And it seems like her quirk is strong. As some teachers are like, seems we have some promising new candidates for this year. As they immediately see Deku just throw a 3-pointer into like 12 1-pointers. As Deku says, come on! Is that it? As he just destroys them pretty easily. As when he's like actually starting to work up a sweat, he's like, picking these guys up ain't that difficult. Throwing them around is pretty easy as well, but still, we're in the hot sun today. Should be good. As he's about to rush at another one, they hear the whole 0-pointer like breaking out of the ground. Deku's like, now this is exciting. As then he's about to go head first into fight this giant robot. As then he eventually like hears Uraraka going, help me, I'm trapped. Deku's like, oh. As he moves over, he's like, hang on a second. As he just throws the rubble off her, he's like, come on. As he goes and starts running away. Moving very fast. As he just gets her out of like the way and essentially like hands her to like hands her off to another group of students. As he's like, take care of her for a second. As he as he shuts down his first quirk, he then starts charging up the second one. As several teachers are like, hey, look at that, as they see the white aura starting to form around Deku. Or the green one. So like, man, this kid really is like All Might. Look, he's starting to like show off some form of thing around him. As then they just see Deku disappear. As then immediately they just feel boom. As rumbling sets out through the thing. As it's like 0-pointer. Second 0-pointer is down. Repeat. Second 0-pointer is down. As they just look over and see the heads like pretty much knocked off. As Deku hit it with an uppercut. As the wires and such were like ripped, it pretty much just fell backwards. As then for Bakugo, she too has to deal with the 0-pointer. As she pretty much just takes a sort of digs herself in, you could say. As then she just is on top of a building with the 0-pointer looking at her and starts raising its fist and throwing it. There's just if there was an explosion compared to it, you could compare it to it's just, you know her you know how in Heroes Rising, I've seen like the part where Deku and Bakugo fight 9. Essentially, that's how powerful like her greatest explosion is. Well, I wouldn't say great. A very very powerful explosion is that it's like that. As she uses it, there's just it looks like a heat, like a dome of heat is just expanding outwards as it engulfs a few buildings, as then they just turn to slag. As the 0-pointer just goes as Bakugo's explosions would probably be able to hurt All Might or even Deku in this state. Is how I think that it should work. Has anyone actually asked Horikoshi what happens if someone gets a quirk? Or someone with a quirk has it? Or is this still just fan theorizing? I really need to check that out. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, as Deku and Bakugo stand victorious as they walk away, Bakugo jumps from the building and just like blasts down to keep herself from falling, as Deku just walks over and says, is everyone alright? As in, it's like, the UA entrance exam is over. As Deku says, oh. As he starts walking away, saying that this was all pretty easily. As Bakugo says the same, that this really wasn't any sort of a challenge. As they walk away and sort of meet up. As they actually want to talk with All Might a bit, but he's a bit busy at the moment. As some of the teachers are asking All Might about what does he think of those two students. As Nesu is actually also asking, as I think All Might told like the people who knew about One for All, the actual One for All, about who he chose as a successor, which I believe that entails Nezuko, Night Eye, and what's her name? Recovery Girl. There we go. Sorry, I almost said Doctor Healing Girl. Sorry. As Deku and Katsuki pretty much just hang out for a couple of days. As Momo says that she actually, since they do their thing earlier than like I believe it's the recommendations do the whole entrance exam thing a lot earlier than they do with the normal one. So she said she got her like things back before them, but she'll wait to open them to like find out what they have. As Deku says, alright. He says, like, you know what? As a celebration, why don't we all head out to eat? My treat. As they all head out and catch the movies. As they're all talking and such, eventually they do get the whole, the letters and such when they return home. As 1A, 1A, and 1A, as it typically would be. Deku didn't expect anything less. Bakugo didn't expect anything less. And Momo was really happy that she was able to get in. As Deku says, well, as they like all call each other up, he's like, well, we all got in, it seems. As he's like stretching. Though, to be fair, the exam was pretty easy. As he's rubbing his eye, he's like, but then again, we're just on completely different levels than probably most people. For example, most people haven't probably been training since they were young to be strong like us, or like me, I guess. As then he starts, as Momo and Katsuki start talking about, they think is that Bakugo feels that she's just recently putting real effort in. Like a few months ago, almost to a year or so ago, she just started putting actual real effort in, and she's surprised by her progress, saying that maybe she could even get more powerful. Deku says he doesn't doubt it one bit. I think out of everyone that I've ever met, you actually may prove a challenge more so than anyone else, even my own dad. As Momo's like, your dad? As Deku says, never mind. So what about you, Momo? She's like, well, I'm not physically tough like you two. Like, she just says she pretty much has to do a lot of studying, to make her quirk effective as possible. Deku's like, can you make flashbangs, smoke? Can you make liquids? Could you make Diet Coke or something? You just gotta know what it's made out of, right? She's like, yeah, I actually never thought about that. As it's like, could you make water technically? As Deku starts actually thinking about this in deep thought, as he goes quiet, as Momo and Bakugo just talk, as Deku's just thinking to himself and constant can't she do, I wonder if she could as he's just jumping all around in his own head about what can and what she can't do. As Bakugo's like, Deku, yeah? He's like, yep, I'm here. So, as Deku said, well, Momo says, so you guys have your costumes submitted in already, right? He's like, oh, Deku's like, yeah, I do. I've submitted mine in. Well, not submitted in, but I have it at the ready. They just need, I just need to know where to send it and when to send it. Bakugo says same thing. She's like, oh, actually, I'm curious. Do you guys actually have a hero name picked out? As they're like, what? Yeah, hero names and such, names you'd use. As Deku thinks, Nephilim. I chose that a while ago. She's like, Nephilim, it's a son of an angel, or a son of an angel and a normal human, and they were heroes and giants, extremely powerful. And I am all three of those, so, you know. And she's like, oh, that's pretty interesting. What about you, Bakugo? She's like, Queen Explosion Murder. As Deku says, they won't allow you to do that, you know. She's like, why not? It's a perfectly reasonable name. She's like, I don't know, it's their choice. As then, like, they start, like, getting into a tiny little argument. It's like, well, that, come on. There's mythical beings. I can't just have King Explosion Murder. You could, well, Queen Explosion. As he's like, you could just have Queen Explosion or something. You don't need murder at the end of the name. Like, why? She's like, it's been what I've been thinking about for a long time. As Deku says, this train of thought's getting us nowhere. As Momo was like, I thought of create-tea. As she just shifts the thing to her, not him. So Deku's like, yeah, that's a pretty neat name. What do you think, Bakugo? Yeah, pretty neat. As then eventually Yue rolls around. Deku and them will arrive as the people at Yue had to order an extra large nut. They got him some All Might size clothing to wear, as that's the only thing that could really fit him. As he has it on, he's just like, as he walks into class and such, he's like, oh god, I'm really happy that these doors are so big. Seriously, at my other schools, I always had to duck or try to squeeze in through those tiny little things. Ridiculous. Not ridiculous. Ridiculous. There we go. Sometimes I forget some words. Ridiculous. Alright. Anyways, yes. As they all enter, Deku's like, so... As he's looking at the chairs, he's like... As then he sees his desk, he's like, oh, thank God. As they ordered him an extra pretty much, they got him an All Might sized desk. He's like, thank the God. As he, like, opens it, he's like, thank you. As he's able to sit down properly in it, he's like, finally. As everything's always been a lot smaller for him. Even, like, if they had a cafeteria and he went there, they would just serve him, like, tiny-sized portions. He's like, thank you. As he had to walk away with his meager-sized amount of food. As then, Ida talks about, oh, it's you, and such. As he starts getting asked questions, and eventually talks with Uraraka as well. Saying, it's no problem, I saved you. As Bakugo takes up, like, where she typically sits and has her feet on the desk. As Deku just, like, sort of sits next to her and said, this ain't so bad. Could really get used to this, you know? As she's like, as she relaxes, I agree. As they just start talking with Uraraka and such, talking with Deku as well. And Momo here and now then. As then eventually Aizawa. With Aizawa's like, you guys took too long to stop talking. As then they go on to explain. As Deku's thinking, this guy looks like he's been through the ringer. As Deku's normal strength, actually, his like average strength has increased a lot as well. Since, like I said, like his family has a genetic thing where they have more muscles, or their muscles are a lot tougher and stronger than the average person. And that with like averageness, Deku was like as strong as a normal weightlifter or something. Well, at not his peak, well, like when he trained to a decent amount, he was as strong as a world, like as normal, like a strongman and such. Now he's pushed past that, and now he can, like, in his normal form, he can lift like close. If not, he can lift a ton. 1 ton. That's it. In his normal form. So, like, he sort of goes, like, on threats by that. So, a normal person, he's just gonna hit with, like, his normal strength, as that may not have him die. They'll probably be hurt, though, so, extremely, and he may actually have to hold back on most people. As eventually they're sent off to do the whole test thing. As when Deku gets to the door to the changing room, he's like, I knew it would happen eventually. As it's a really small door, as he has to like sort of squeeze in there, he's like, as he like, his head is not close to the roof, it's like a first foot or so below it. As Deku says, at least I got room in here, as he has a giant locker. They couldn't get everything down, but they got most things, as he just has upsized stuff, like a bigger locker, bigger desk, and all that. As he puts on his gym clothes, he's like, this is really weird, but hey, who am I to judge? As he squeezes out of the door, he's like, well, it's like, I really need to work on my flexibility. As he stretches and like starts cracking bones and such, he's like, As eventually Bakugo and Momo are like the first out. As Momo and Bakugo are pretty much decent friends. Like, Momo is like kind of like the opposite of Bakugo. Not aggressive, not physically strong, and stuff like that. The only thing they really have in common are they're very smart. Is like one of the things that they're known. Is like the things that they have in common are they're smarts and such, and a few hobbies and such that they like. As Deku says, hey Bakugo, Momo, or Katsuki and Yagorozu, since they've all known each other for a while, so they refer to each other on a first name basis. As they're just chatting up and such, eventually the rest of 1A comes stumbling out. As it's like, hey, you scored the most on the practical exam. As, I didn't mention this, but Deku and Bakugo sort of had a, what's the word? Yes. They like sort of were like saying, I got this many points. No, I got this many points. As the thing that they promised to do is that Bakugo said Deku had to let Momo and Bakugo braid his hair. And Deku says he said that he would reserve his thing for later. As she's like, wait, you can't do that, can he? As Momo says, it's technically not against it. So, as they like made the bet, as Deku of course won. As he took the ball, he's like, you owe me that favor now. I told you I got more. As in, it's like, just throw it as hard as you can and stay in the circle. As he's like, the circle is small. As he's like, I know, just bear with it. As Deku's like, as he powers up to 55% and then adds his first quirk on top of the whole Hanma quirk, as they're mixed together, immediately there's just as it just sounds like a snap. As in there's like, it was so fast the thing couldn't even register it. As it's just like, too fast for me. As Deku threw that with like all he had. As it like, we're blasting off again. Ding. Anyways, as Deku did that, Deku says, is that enough? As Aizawa says, Izuka Midoriya, you succeed. As then he shows it to the class, he says, Midoriya's couldn't be studied, so I need someone else up here. As in, it's like, you, second in place. Name's Bakugo. Yes, Miss Bakugo. Come and throw the ball. As she throws it, and it gets hot far. As it's just like, as it comes, as they're like trying to get a hold of it, it's like it melted away. As he's like, oh, come on. As some of the other people are like, man, these two are like ridiculously strong. As Kirishima like, can't you tell? Look at that guy. As Deku towers over the entire class, Aizawa as well. Some say he's like actually as big as All Might, I think. As when they're going through the rest of the test, they crush him. Side to side lunges and all this. Deku, like to this, Deku's like on a cakewalk. As he doesn't have to like when he runs, he like blitzes Ida using his quirks. As for these like things, he's like doing the best he can, like he was told to. So each one is just crushed. Bakugo's also crushing it. Not like up like for some scores she does get less than like other kids, like the Octo Arms guy. Since he has 3 arms, he technically wins the grip strength. As with that going bit by bit, eventually it's like, alright, you'll win. As he did threaten the whole expulsion thing, as he's like, Minoru Mineta, you're expelled. As he's like, what? As Bakugo says, oh, he was serious. As Deku's like, he should have. If he didn't follow through with it, I would kind of been disappointed, to tell you the truth. This is a hero course. We gotta stick to it, you know? Keep our heads straight. If they can, at least. If you can multitask, good. He then goes on, as in they go on to go through the rest of the day. And that's where I'm going to be ending this one off at. I hope you all have enjoyed this. Hope y'all continue to enjoy this. And I hope you all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.